How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is currently running its Planet of the Discount sale, as well as its games under $15 sale. We are here to look at deals under the price of $10, already did under $5, so check that out if you're interested, but let's get right into this. Have about 15 deals to go over, so let's try to get through everything relatively quickly. First of all, the Metro Saga bundle is probably, if not the best deal across all of these sales, one of the best deals, so it's 85% off for $9. What this gets you is Metro 2033 Redux, Metro Last Light Redux, and Metro Exodus Gold Edition. Just a disgustingly good deal, given that you get 2033 and Last Light, and then you get Exodus with the game's DLC. So you're getting all of that content for just $9. These games are really solid single-player, narrative-driven, atmospheric shooters that, you know, I really enjoyed. Are they the lengthiest games in the world? No, you can complete them rather quickly, 8 to 12 hours, but Exodus is pretty good. 2033 and Last Light I thought were really good, and Exodus looks fantastic and plays fantastic on PlayStation 5 as well, so even if each respective game isn't super lengthy, you're talking about paying $9 for the collection, and across all three games, you're gonna get a sizable amount of content, so this is just a stupid good deal. If you're remotely into atmospheric first-person titles, you have to pick this up. If you haven't checked out the Metro games, I think a lot of you will dig them at $9. No-brainer, this Saga bundle is ridiculous. Next up, a game that I often recommend, but Burnout Paradise Remastered is 70% off for $6. Now, this game initially came out back in January of 2008, so it for sure shows its age, but it's still a very enjoyable arcade racer with a lot of destruction, a lot of crashes and whatnot, and a great soundtrack to boot as well. I mean, it's a little bit of a throwback when you got songs like My Curse by Killswitch Engage, but nonetheless, I can get down with that, and I enjoy the soundtrack quite a bit of content. Not the biggest open world. Like if you compare Burnout Paradise to, let's say, a Forza Horizon game, yeah, it's obviously smaller, but it's also a 2008 game. May as well be 2007 because it came out in January of 2008, but nonetheless, game is still a fun time, and for $6 I think it's a pretty good deal. Next up, we have XCOM 2 The Collection, which is 90% off for $9.99. I really enjoyed XCOM 2. If you're not even a big fan of tactics titles, give XCOM a shot, and I think you can be pleasantly surprised by it. Now, the performance on PlayStation 4 does leave quite a lot to be desired, but overall, it's still an enjoyable tactics experience, and with the collection, you get War of the Chosen and some other DLC packs, and this is the version of the game that I really recommend you to buy so you can get War of the Chosen, but an enjoyable tactics game, a lot of replayability, can get pretty challenging, so keep that in mind as well, but $9.99 for that is quite good. Next up, we have the Last Remnant Remastered, which is 60% off for $8. Now, this is a JRPG that initially came out as a 360 exclusive. Yeah, a Microsoft JRPG exclusive. You ain't seeing much of those these days, but nonetheless, it did get ported to PlayStation 4, and it's a pretty good game. I wasn't crazy about the story, but the battle system was super unique. On the original Xbox release, it did have some technical shortcomings. Those were pretty much remedied with this PlayStation 4 Remastered release. If you're looking to play a pretty unique JRPG, I think you'll find that here. Just don't expect anything blow away, but at $8 I think it's a pretty good buy. Next up, we have Valkyria Chronicles Remastered, 70% off for $6. Love this game. It's a JRPG that I think anybody can get really into, just because it's a different style of JRPG, with the story being mostly told through the use of this storybook, and that's how the game really progresses. It's not like you have crazy exploration to do or anything like that. It's kind of a streamlined experience, but the tactics gameplay, really well done. Art style has just aged fantastically, even though it's a game that came out in like 2008. Still really looks good in the year 2023, and for $6, no-brainer here as well. Great pickup, strongly recommended. Next up, the Shadow Warrior Collection. This is an insane deal. 85% off for $7.49. Now, if you have a PlayStation Plus subscription, you save an additional 5%, so you get Shadow Warrior 1 and 2 for $4.99. That is nuts. Shadow Warrior, both these games are super fast-paced, bloody action titles that, you don't take the narrative too seriously, but from a gameplay standpoint, it doesn't get much better from a fast-paced, high-octane action game. Maybe you can say Platinum Games has some titles that'll beat it in terms of the fast-paced nature, but Shadow Warrior is a great time. I did like Shadow Warrior 2 over Shadow Warrior 1, but both games are really good. For $4.99 if you're a Plus subscriber, or even $7.49 without a Plus subscription, just stupid good deal. Strongly recommend that. One of the best deals across the sale as well, alongside Metro Saga. Next up, BioShock The Collection, 80% off for $9.99 is BioShock The Collection. The BioShock trilogy is great. You get BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite. Infinite is my favorite, which I wasn't aware is kind of a hot take. Like, I get that most people loved BioShock 1, but I loved BioShock Infinite's shift in the setting. I just thought that was great. Art style in that game is good as well. BioShock 1 still holds up tremendously, and it's a fantastic game. Generally speaking, most people agree BioShock 2 is the weakest, but you know, it's like the Batman Arkham franchise where, like, really none of the Batman Arkham games are the weakest, and BioShock 2 is still a really, really good game. And to get that alongside Infinite and BioShock 1, no-brainer there, great deal. Next up, we have Borderlands Game of the Year Edition, 67% off for $9.89. Now, this is Borderlands 1 revamped and upgraded. Borderlands 1 is still a fantastic game. I don't like it as much as Borderlands 2, but man, I thought Borderlands 1 was a tremendous game. The story, you know, it's nonsensical Borderlands, but there's definitely a good level of humor, and I thought the humor was pretty well done. Even if you're playing the game solo, I think you're going to have a good time with it. That's something I've always had the opinion of when it came to Borderlands. I think the games are still enjoyable for a solo player, and, you know, they're great games. And with the Game of the Year Edition, you get a bunch of bonus DLC, so that's great. But at $9.89, great price on that. Next up, we have Tales of Zestria, 90% off for $5.99. Now, this is generally considered to be the weakest or one of the weakest Tales of games. Definitely the weakest Tales of title that I've played, and I played nearly all of them. But the thing about Tales of is that they are incredibly consistent JRPGs. That Zestria is still a pretty good game. I'm not going to say like a damn good game, but it's a pretty good game. The visual style is great. I think the, you know, character designs are good, although the characters themselves can be a little grating, and there are some very questionable narrative decisions made throughout this game. Let's just say that. But still, if you're trying to play every Tales of game, I'm not going to say spend full price on this game, but for $5.99, I think it's a really good deal, and I would say give it a shout at this price point, and for JRPG fans, you'll still have a good time with it. Next up, Dying Light Definitive Edition, 80% off for $9.99. Bruh, is Dying Light 1 with all the bonus content? You're talking the following: the Horde Mode, Cuisine and Cargo, Ultimate Survival Bundle, Crash Test Skin Pack, Dying Light Hell Raid, and large collection of skins and weapons. Just getting the base game for $9.99 would already be a no-brainer, but to get all that bonus content, and given how well Techland supported Dying Light 1, like, it's a no-brainer. Plays and runs great on the PS5 as well. Most people, myself included, would agree that Dying Light 1 is the superior game to Dying Light 2. Not that I have anything against Dying Light 2, I think it's a pretty good game, but Dying Light 1 was just superb, and for $9.99, it's a dumb good deal, so check that out. Great price on that. Next up, we have Mafia 2 Definitive Edition, 67% off for $9.89. As I've mentioned before, Mafia 2's Definitive Edition doesn't have all that definitiveness to it, but Mafia 2 itself is a great game that I would say is a worthwhile pickup. It's a really solid narrative-driven action title, great voice acting, great story. For sub $10, it's a good buy. A little bit on the shorter side, but that's to be expected with these Mafia titles, especially Mafia 1 and 2. Next up, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, 85% off for $9. Look, I know that Mortal Kombat 1 is coming out, but to get MK11 with all the bonus content, you're talking Combat Pack 1, 2, Aftermath Expansion, Shao Kahn, and the base game, like, that's a stupid good deal from a value standpoint. Mortal Kombat 1 is going to come out at $70, and if you want all the bonus content to that game, you're going to be spending well over $100. So if you want something a little bit on the cheaper side, but still an enjoyable Mortal Kombat experience, for $9, MK11 Ultimate Edition is a phenomenal deal. It's also upgraded on PlayStation 5, so that's quite nice. And for all the bonus content, $9 is a no-brainer. Go check that out. Tremendous deal there. Next up, Risk of Rain 2, 75% off for $624. I initially picked up Risk of Rain 2 when it was in early access on PC, and you know, initially I didn't really get down with the game that much, but then I played it more and more, and yes, it's an incredibly addictive experience. Fantastic art style. It is a challenging game. Maybe get a couple of friends to pick it up and you'll have a better experience, or a more enjoyable experience when you're playing with your boys. For $624, it is a great buy though, and an incredibly addictive and replayable experience, so give that a look. Next up, we got Kingdom Come Deliverance, the base game, which is 80% off for $6. Very realistic RPG with a pretty good story. This is one that does go under the radar. Visually, it looks great, and gameplay-wise, it might not be for everyone because it does have that more methodical pace to it, but I still had a good time with it, and for this price point of $6, I think it's quite good. Unfortunately, it's not the Royal Edition, which does include the bonus DLC. That usually goes on sale for like $10, so if you do want to get the bonus DLC, you know, maybe wait for the Royal Edition to go on sale. Otherwise, the base game for $6, I think is a great deal. And lastly, I do want to give the Division 2 Warlords of New York Edition a shout. 85% off for $9. I jumped back into the Division 2 earlier this year for a little bit. I didn't like, you know, play hundreds of hours of it, but I had a pretty decent time with it, and to get the base game and the expansion for $9, I actually think that's a pretty good deal. You can play solo, you can play online cooperative play, which I think most people would recommend that, but for $9, you know, again, you get the base game, you get the expansion, maybe get some friends to pick it up and you can jump in together, but not a bad deal at this cheap of a price. So I thought I'd give that a shout as well. You know, the base game, unfortunately, not on sale, but this edition for $9 is a good deal. That's gonna do it for me. Again, as always, links to all of these deals will be in the description box below, but that'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. And remember, all this is ahead of Days of Play kicking off later this week, so a ton more great deals will be coming up, but that'll do it for me. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.